Alright, how's it going? Today we're going to be talking about One Piece chapter 1071. It was an insane chapter. I really enjoyed it. Fantastic. A few of my agendas are, I'm happy about. They're coming. And I'm looking forward to them. We got that kid agenda run, which we'll talk about right now, because let's go with that. You know me, I've made videos on Kid being the main antagonist of Elbath. I've talked about it a few times, actually. I talked about him getting a new crew, different things to do with Kid and his connection to Elbath. But now we're seeing he's actually landed on Elbath, and it'd be actually interesting to see what he will do, how his conflict will start, because we can assume neither Shanks nor Luffy are at Elbath at the minute, because they were both in Wano. Shanks probably had something else to do, so if Shanks is the guy who's protecting Elbath, he's probably not there right now. So how are they going to tackle this is how I'm really excited about, because I want to see what Shanks is going to do, what Luffy's going to do, how this Egghead arc is going to end, and how they're going to get to Elbath, because it could be a case where Kuma comes in and transports them to Elbath. But then, speaking of Kuma, he's at the Red Lion. My first reaction was, is he going to be like an artificial Pluton built to destroy the Red Lion, or is it his celestial dragon coding that is trying to make him go back to Marijoa? Because everyone thinks, oh, this is something Vegapunk made to help the revolutionaries, but maybe this is actually a negative thing because it's making him go back to the Marijoa or something like that, instead of what we thought initially was him going to protect Bunny. Or maybe he's the actual person they're talking to, or Vegapunk's talking to in the radio when he calls someone up. Now, I don't know who that could be. Otherwise, it could be some undercover Marine who works for Vegapunk. I just don't know who it would be. Right? The obvious answer, maybe it's Aokiji, but then he wouldn't get Aokiji to blow his cover like that, because he's obviously... Aokiji's slightly more important than, let's say, Kobe. If Kobe was the guy, Aokiji being in Blackbeard is more important than the government breaking down. Even if the government's gone, Blackbeard's not necessarily gone. So it's difficult. There's a lot to say. I'm kind of just rambling about this chapter, which is what I like to do. But it's interesting to say what this could be, how this will lead to, especially if he has Straw Hat on his side. I don't know why he's getting more people involved. Because realistically, he's considered a Yonko now. I do understand there could probably be, I don't necessarily fully trust this guy. I don't know much about him. And stuff like that. There could be a lot to it, which I will be interested to see how they handle that, to be honest with you. And I want to see, because we see in this chapter, Lucci speaks about not thinking of Luffy as a Yonko. What are they going to do? How are they going to tackle that? How are they going to... This arc is also a way for him to prove that he is a Yonko, right? So he's going to fight Kizaru, which I am excited for. I am so excited for this. Luffy versus Kizaru is going to be so good. I am so happy that this is a thing, and I am excited to see where they go with that. I don't know about you, but because I don't feel like the final fights against the Admirals are going to be the Straw Hats, right? Because obviously, I think Sabo's going to fight Akainu. I don't know who's going to fight the other two, but I just know that Sabo is going to fight Akainu. I don't know about the other two, or even if Kizaru will be involved. But having Luffy fight, fight an Emperor fight an Admiral at some point, will have that comparison be able to be there, which is exciting to see, right? And we might have some of the other Straw Hats briefly scuffle with Kizaru before Luffy shows up. Because we see Luffy's just kind of popping in and out this entire arc. He's like, I got something to do. He doesn't even want to leave right now. You know what I mean? He's pretty confident at the minute, pretty reassured. And I feel like this is a way to show that Luffy is at that level. This arc is what that is. And I think Elbath might bring him down a bit, or it might bring him up again. We're not going to talk much about what Elbath might be, because this is a very exciting arc, and we'll take it one arc at a time at this point. The fact Elbath is brought into it, though, is exciting. Because that means, if we're not already certain, Elbath is happening, lads. And I am just, the more chapters come on and on and on, and I'm just like, oh, thank God, we're getting that, right? And I'm happy about that, right? And it's the last chapter of the year, so there's a lot to stew on, a lot to talk about. Actually, when do we get the next chapter out? I'd say it's like second week of January, is it? Something like that, right? So this is going to last us a good while. So there's a lot to stew on this chapter. I haven't even brought up about Garp at all yet, which I am excited for. Now, I was initially thinking, because they have the Garp Dendenmushi here, maybe Garp's the guy he's talking to, because obviously he knows Dragon. But I don't think so. I'm racking my brain to see who it could possibly be that Vegapunk was talking to, because it has to be someone we know. I don't think it's Smoker, because, you know what, it could be though. It actually could be, because we have Smoker meeting up with Vegapunk at some point. So it could be something to do with that. Or it could be Green Bull, or whoever Green Bull is supposed to be. Because maybe that's an act, you know what I mean? Because obviously Green Bull is referenced as some sort of relative to Zoro. His, like, the guy who's the relative to Zoro and Wano has a Green Bull. So there's still something to do with Green Bull involved. And that could be simply hinting that Green Bull would show up in Wano, so I'm actually not going to lean on that. But someone high up has to be involved with Vegapunk. Now, I'm assuming it's a Marine, but the way they were talking, like he couldn't be outed, it would have to be a Marine, right? It couldn't be a pirate, because a pirate's working with the world government. Like, yeah, that's not going to be that big that it's going to ruin their reputation, right? But it also has to be powerful enough that they assume he's a guaranteed save, right? So, who could it possibly be? Right? Could he be working with Crocodile? Because I'm trying to think of characters that are relevant in the story currently, because I feel like that it would have been set up somewhat previously. There might be one or two hints in the story that I'm missing post Wano, or even in Wano. My initial thought would be maybe he contracted with the Cross Guild in some regard, and obviously the confidence with Mihawk, Crocodile, and Buggy as a potential emperor. Or it's a Marine and it's Aokiji, because Aokiji is a strong character. I just don't see the justification for making him break the potential, spying he's doing on Blackbeard, because it's like, what are you doing there, Because he has to be very, very careful. Because Blackbeard could be a threat even after the world government is dealt with, hypothetically, right? Blackbeard could be a threat for a very, very long time. So making Aokiji break his cover like that would not be a good idea. But moving on from that though, right? And speaking about the guy who was Vegapunk's contact, Garp going to Hachinosu is exciting, because we get to see the full capabilities of this character. It also is the time where where Randy Troy's law sword theory will either be debunked or proven, because Garp is going to show up. Aokiji's there, Kobe's there, everyone who is involved in the Rocky Port incident is there, and Garp, someone who would probably be the leader of the sword, is there as well. So I'm very excited. There's a lot in this chapter to stew over, and with Garp's full capabilities are going to be showing off. I'm interested to see what he's like, how much of a brawler he is, and how they're going to show off his abilities, because we've never actually seen it. Even in Marineford, he did fucking nothing. Right, so it'd be cool to see someone who's maybe like a hockey beast, right? We want to see him show off Conquerors, because he's confident enough to go off on his own with maybe just Helmeppo and this weird Akainu's potential daughter character, right? So it is something I really want to see, and I really want to see how they handle it, because if we have Garp literally soloing the entirety of the Blackbeard Pirates, besides like Blackbeard alone, and maybe Aokiji or Shiryu, sorry. That would be fantastic. Imagine that. Imagine the top 10s would shift. Actually, I have to talk about my top 30, which I'll probably do next week or the week after. But that's one thing. I think just the fact that Garp is willing to do this makes me think that he's up higher up than I put him originally. I have to check where I put him actually later on. But I'm excited to see Garp's capabilities and how he fights, because we saw Luffy fights, and it would be interesting if they had it be similar, but Garp can obviously extend his limbs, so maybe they'll use Garp to show us how Luffy would fight with a devil fruit. Maybe something similar to that, right? And obviously Garp is a strong character, so I think we might find out more about Blackbeard and his connection to Zebek, because Garp was on God Valley, so he would get certain things better or quicker than the rest of them, and he might figure something out. Obviously, we could talk about Garp potentially dying, but I don't think so. I don't think that's something they'll run with, or how they'll handle that, I don't know. But I don't think he'll die here. If he's going to die, he'll die in the final war. You could add something on to him dying, like have him die to Blackbeard to give Luffy some further motivation, but I think that would throw off the entire story and have the One Piece be put on hold to avenge Garp, right? So I don't see that happening right now. Because we don't want to put that story on hold. You know what I mean? We don't want to make it so, you know, he doesn't go to Elbaf, he doesn't find the One Piece because he's too angry about Garp. Right? So I don't think that's going to happen. I think Garp will make it out of there some way. Aokiji might have to blow his cover, or there will be more Marines to back him up because he's the hero of the Marines. Something's going to happen, but it's going to start the big war. Because I said before, this might start the massive war that we've seen with an Admiral going to Egghead and Hachinosu stuff. This big war has started now, and there's nothing that the government can do to stop it now, and we're going to see both Blackbeard and Garp's full capabilities, and it is exciting. I cannot wait, and I don't know about you, but there's more to be said about this chapter in further videos. I'll leave it there for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!